Hello YouTube, this is OJ Cubing, and today we have the unboxing of the Moyu Weilong GTS version 2 Magnetic. Okay, so as you can see, we have the Moyu Weilong GTS2M, and this is the mass-produced version, not the Cubicle Labs version. And I also have a clock, and that is because I've never had a clock before, and I'd like to do mini Guildfords and stuff like that, and I need a clock for that. So let's put this aside for the moment and get back to it and do the less interesting stuff first. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what sort of brand this clock is, but we have some instructions here, which is good because I don't know how it actually works, how to solve it. But as you can see, we have these 9 clock faces and then these dials on the side, and as we rotate the dials, certain ones will rotate, I guess. And then if we press in and out these toggles here, you can see they're on the other side as well. If we press in these buttons, there we go, it takes a bit more effort to push in, then that alters which ones are able to turn, and so that is how it becomes scramblable. And these are really, really stiff, I have to say. Maybe it will get better when I've used them a bit more, but at the moment I'm really having to put in a lot of effort into it. Again, I don't know what brand this is, so it's probably some off-brand one. It's got some weird guy down there, that's a bit odd, and he's there as well. So yeah, I'm not too bothered about the clock. I will learn how to solve it, but probably not quickly. I'll just learn the beginner's method. And so let's get on to the main event, and that is, of course, the Moyu Weilong GTS2M. So the box is really fancy. There's everyone sort of going on about the box and how nice it looks. And so that's the bottom of it. Let's go and try and open it up. Oh, so even the box is magnetic. So that opens up like that. And there we have the cube. And I got it in black rather than stickerless. And so let's take it out. Kind of looks like the vault case in a way. With all these things in it as well. There's some QR codes and some guy I don't know. And so let's have a look at the actual cube then. Okay, so if we first have a look at the sticker shades, we've got quite a nice green there. I like that green. Very nice bright yellow. The red's quite a little bit dark, I guess. I think the blue is a little bit too dark for me, but it's not as dark as the Volk was when I originally got it, which I didn't like. So I think that blue will be just about bright enough for me to like it. The yellow is nice and vibrant, and then of course white is white. But let's go into first turns. Wow, this cube is really controllable, actually. I'm a little bit locky, maybe. I think it's actually moving a bit too fast for me, and it's overshooting like that, so I might have to either get used to it or slow it down a bit. But I can feel the use of the magnets when I do that. Let's have a feel of those then. Okay, so you can definitely tell when you turn it like this that it is being attracted to this sort of a state, and it's locking in at those points. You can feel it's sort of bumpy as the magnets attract. So let's sort of see if we go from 45 and then we decrease it. So it's not actually snapping to any position really if I turn it slowly. But it's just sort of locking into that position, I guess. It's kind of feeling a little bit weird to control at the moment, but I'm hoping that's just because I'm not used to it. And also this hasn't been tensioned or lubed or set up or anything, which I'm really looking forward to doing, of course. Now I heard that the GTS2 was very much like the Volk, and I really like the Volk. It is currently my main, but hopefully that's going to change with this cube. But magnetic cubes are where it's at the moment. That's where all the records are being set, and so I'm very happy to have one of my own. It does feel a lot more of a stranger sort of turning when you're there scrambling. I can feel the pieces trying to lock into each other. So the magnets are definitely noticeable. They're not sort of subtle and non-existent sort of thing. So let's go for a solve. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that actually. This is getting to feel a lot nicer to me already actually, just by getting used to how the attraction of the magnets are sort of working. And I don't think it's the sort that's going to stop you from getting a +2. I don't think that's what the magnets are really intended for. I don't think you're going to, you know, put it down like this and it's going to suddenly snap back to there. In fact, as you can see, as I'm doing turns like this, it's not actually snapping to a point at the moment. That might just be the tensions. I'm sure I could get used to turning it like this so that it always, or almost always, snaps to the right position. And the middle slices, because obviously they've got magnets on both sides now, that snaps a lot easier. So maybe I won't mess up my H and Z perms quite as much. Or maybe I'll mess them up more, I don't really know. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say about the first impressions of this cube, so I'm going to go away and set it up and everything, and I'll come back to you when I've done all of that. No! Okay guys, so I've had this cube for a few weeks now and I'm ready to make my final review. I have to say I absolutely love this puzzle. Just the way, the speed and the way it turns and everything like that just really suits me, and yet it's still really controllable, partly due to the magnets. But I think even without the magnets, I would still have this as my main. So it is definitely my main at the moment, and I don't think any cube's going to beat it for a little while at least. One thing I will say is that the magnets are quite easy to come out. As you can see from this video here, they actually started rattling around within the piece and I realised that they'd come out, and so I had to go and super glue them back in, and then another one came out, and so I decided to super glue all of them in just to make sure that they hopefully wouldn't come out in the future. But it's something to note about the mass-produced one is that it's a little bit cheaper, and so evidently the glue isn't quite as sticky, and so the magnets will come out quite often, and I'd recommend having some super glue at hand if you get this puzzle. Another thing that I'd like to say that's kind of bad about it is this can quite easily corner twist. Here's a little video of it corner twisting within the middle of a solve that I really didn't want to happen, and it probably happens about 1 in every 50 solves, but that might just be my turning style or the tensions I have it at. But those things said, this has actually decreased all of my averages. It's decreased my average of 5, average of 12, 50, 100 and 1,000, and so that is a really good thing. And even though it's only sort of slight differences, just the feel of this cube is absolutely amazing and I really enjoy it. This has also become my one-handed main because it's actually really stable and I find that it moves really well one-handed, but I'm not having it as my blind main at the moment because I feel like the sort of clicky nature of it, I just don't quite like it, and I quite like the smoothness of my Volk when I'm doing blind. So the Volk's going to stay as my blind main, but for everything else this is going to be my new main. And it is absolutely amazing cube. I definitely recommend you getting it. And speaking of which, I'm hopefully going to be holding a sponsored giveaway of the Moyu Weilong GTS V2, and that should hopefully be coming out next week or so. You're going to have to stay tuned for that. And until then guys, I will see you all later. Have a nice day. Goodbye. So there we have it guys. As you can see, this thing is holding itself together just about. You can technically see right through it. Hello! There's one little finger at the end of it. So there is technically a void cube. Let's see whether it functions. No.